Welcome to the Robyn Graham Show, the podcast for purpose-driven women who want to achieve sustainable success without having to be on social media. Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome to another episode of the Robyn Graham Show. I am Robyn, your host, and I am thrilled that you're here listening. We are going to talk all about spring cleaning today. Now, I know if you're anything like me, spring cleaning can sound a little bit daunting. However, after we do it, we feel really good and we have that sense of reward and accomplishment, and we get to enjoy a clean house or clean cabinets or clean carpets or whatever it is that we have actually done in our spring cleaning regimen, right? So the same thing can happen for your business, except there are even additional benefits for your business because when you do take the time, the effort, and you clean up some of the back end of your business, you're going to have more opportunities to attract your ideal clients, those soulmate people that you're meant to serve and that you're going to feel fulfilled working with. So let's just dive right in. We're touching on 5 subjects today, and that is it. And so we're going to look at some website stuff, but even more importantly, some tangible things that you can do in your that are going to boost your everyday efforts and help you become more visible and have a healthier back end of your business. All right, so we're going to dive straight in. Let's talk about your email list. So this isn't necessarily related to your website. However, it is very, very important. And a hint for driving traffic to your email list will be to have your lead magnet on the homepage of your site, front and center at the top, so that they will know exactly what you want them to do, that you want them to join your email list. You're giving them value straight out of the gate, and they will understand that you are there to help them, that you get them, and that you're ready and waiting to serve them. So, number one. Now, for your email list in the back end, what I would love for you to do is clean up that list. Here's what happens when you have stagnant people on your list, meaning they're not opening, they're not clicking, they're not converting. It's time to ask them if they want to stay on your list or if they are not interested any longer to not be on your list. If they want to stay on your list, that's great. Tag them with a new tag that identifies them as people who are interested and want to stay on the list. So maybe that tag is your standard list tag with the date so that you know when they confirmed that they were willing and eager to stay on your list. Now, it's also important that you go through and anyone who has unsubscribed is removed, because when you have all that low hanging fruit, and if your CRM is trying to send to them, if you haven't cleaned up that list, it's going to weigh down your statistics. It's going to decrease the ability to reach your entire list because so many messages are going out and looking like spam to the email algorithms out there. So it's really important that if you have hard bounces, if you have unsubscribed, if you notice that emails are being skipped, make sure you are completely aware as to why that is. Did they unsubscribe? If yes, time to remove them from your list. If no, you can do a test to them and see if they have a new email or if their email isn't working or whatever. That tends to be a lot of work. But most of the time, your email, your CRM, whatever platform you're doing your email marketing on, should give you an indication as to why that message was skipped and didn't go to the people that you meant it to go to. Okay, so that's looking at that list as an entirety. Now, when you send out emails, it's really important to know what's happening. What is your open rate? What is your click-through rate? What is or are your deliverability rates? And this is where those skipped or unsubscribes can come into play, the hard bounced. So when you send out an email, you should be able to see how many were sent and how many were successfully sent and actually reached the place that you were sending it, that email address. And then look at your conversion rates. So of those clicking through, How many are actually converting to clients? This is really important so that you know what content is resonating, what content you should create more of, and what content maybe you should avoid. Pay attention to your subject lines, and if the open rate is a lot higher, look at the subject lines. And in those emails, that's going to give you a good indication as to what that subject matter was and the type of subject that people are opening. Is it funny? Is it serious? Is it matter of fact? Is it statistical? Is it factual? Like, what is it about that subject line that is making people want to open those emails at a higher rate than they're opening other emails? So, those are just a few things that you can do to tidy up your email list and make sure that your deliverability stays strong and maybe, probably even increases. Okay, so when you think about your email list, right, there are the 5 T's that I've read online. Have to forgive me because I'm not sure exactly who came up with these, but they make total sense and probably you have already heard them. But they are Tease, Target, Teach, Test, and Track. So here we are discussing that tracking and that testing. We want to make sure that whatever you're putting out, you're testing to make sure it's working and you're tracking to make sure that it's effective. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about backlinks on your website. Backlinks can influence the health of your site. The healthier your site, the more likely Google is or search engines are to send people to your site in response to what they're searching for. So, there are backlinks that are internal. So you're linking from one page to another, maybe the homepage to a blog post, maybe a blog to a blog, maybe a blog to the service page, maybe the homepage to the about page, maybe from the homepage to the contact page. So those are internal links. Every page on your site should have an internal link to it and an internal link away from it. So you can go through your pages and you can look to see, do your pages have links internally going to other pages on your site? Now, as you do that, you can also test to make sure that those links are working, that they are not broken. Sometimes we change URLs on pages, and if we haven't established a redirect, then that page is going to be considered as a broken link and people aren't going to be able to access it. So it's very important to periodically, and spring is a great time to do this, to go through all of those links and make sure that they are accurate and that every page has those links. Now, we also need backlinks externally, meaning those backlinks are going to another site. This is especially true for your blog post. You really don't want to send people off of your site. So what you want to do is make sure that any of those backlinks are going to be opened in a new link. And that's going to be in your settings when you're doing a page or a post. You want to make sure that those are opened in a new link and that it's not closing out your page when it opens that page, right? And that is because we want to make sure that people are staying on your site longer. And then after they go, and if you have referenced an article or you're sending them to another site to read something in addition, you want to make sure that they can easily get back to your site. And that's why you want to keep your window open and send them the external link in a new window. Okay, but it's also extremely important if you are referencing other articles, other sites on your platform, make sure that those links are correct and accurate. Because again, if those are broken, number one, it's kind of bad customer service because the people are clicking on it, it's not taking them where they think they want to go, but also it affects or influences the health of your site. Now, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to take me forever to go through all of these pages and all of these links and click on them and make sure, especially if you're like me and you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blog posts and your website is huge, here's what you can do. There are a couple of platforms there you can run reports on the health of your website, and they will actually give you a list of backlinks that are broken. So it makes it really easy to click through and fix those backlinks. So Ahrefs is one, SEMrush is another, and Geometrics, I think, is a third one that you could try. But any of those are going to give you a report on the health of your website. you want the health of your website to be as close to 100% as possible. That means you have to do health checks periodically and make sure that those links and, of course, other things on your site are healthy. Okay, the second thing related to the website that I want to touch on is images. Make sure that your images are sized, or I should say 800 pixels on the longest side, okay? Don't go bigger than that because that will weigh down your site. Make it slower. And we know that the speed of your site, it also influences the health of your site. Also, make sure that you have alt text, including your key phrase of that post or page in or on attached to that image. Okay. You also want to have a description and you also want the key phrase in that description. That is something really simple that you can do while watching TV. Scroll through your site, go to the media folder, and make sure that each one of those images has alt text. Make sure that the size is correct and appropriate, and make sure that you have a description. And that is going to help your SEO and help you become more visible. Okay, the other thing that I love to see on a website, especially if you are looking to be a podcast guest, and this should be included on your website, on your about page or your homepage, or both if you want, and in addition to that, in your media kit. If you have a speaking and media page, you want this there as well. You can choose which page you put it on. You can have it on multiple pages. The key is that you have a good, healthy, up-to-date bio. So if you have changed your title, if you have changed your product offerings and what you're doing or who your ideal client is, or maybe you've moved, or who knows, there's a plethora of things that could happen over the course of a year, right? So spring is a really good time to revisit your bio, update it, and then republish it on your site and your media kit. So let's talk about the bio for a second. And I'm going to give you just like 6 things that you can use in order to map out your bio, and then flesh it out a little bit, edit it a little bit, and just make sure that these things are included. So most bios are written in third person. And if you're doing it in third person, your name should be the first 2 words or 3, if you, or however many names you have in your full name. That should be the first part of that first paragraph, right? You're introducing yourself to the world. Next, you want to make sure that you include your company name or your brand name, whatever that is. You also want to explain your professional role. What do you do? Who do you serve? How do you help them? How do you create impact? How do you get results? How do you solve a problem? So that is in the third part, or the third part that you need to include. Typically, you're going to find that in like the second paragraph, maybe a quick blurb about it in the first paragraph with your introduction, and then more details in the next paragraph down. You also want to include your professional achievements. This includes certifications, awards, degrees, anything that you have achieved professionally related to what your bio is about, what you do, how you serve, how you help your ideal clients. That goes in the next section as well. You also want to share your passions and values. When people read a bio, they want to know a little bit about you from a personal perspective too, not only your professional side. People want to build an emotional connection, right? And that knowing those personal things about you, your passions, your values, and your even next, you want to include your personal interest. Maybe that's your family, maybe it's hobbies, maybe it's traveling, maybe it's food, whatever that is. It's very nice, and it's actually imperative to include in your bio. So those are the 6 things that I would love to see you have in your bio in that order, so that you can really connect with people as they read about you on your about page or on your media page or in your media kit. It will help you be seen as someone that they want to invite on a podcast or for a speaking engagement. And it'll also help people visiting your website to connect with you emotionally and really understand who you are and what you do. All right, the last thing that we're going to touch on today, this is number 6 of 6. We talk a lot about mindset because it is so crucial for you to have a positive mindset if you want to achieve your goals and achieve sustainable success. Many, many, many times, business owners, People in high power careers, people working in corporate hold themselves back. It's not that other people are holding them back, it's that they are holding themselves back. So if you have found yourself in a state of procrastination, if you have felt stuck, if you feel like you're spinning in circles, but you're not getting anywhere, that is an indication that you need to take a step back and you need to evaluate your your mindset, your emotions, what you're thinking, what you're feeling about your business, what your beliefs about your business are. Perhaps your business is creating anxiety for you. Perhaps your stress levels are really high. And now all of a sudden, all of this is accumulating and causing you to feel burned out. Addressing mindset, addressing beliefs, addressing emotions is absolutely crucial to stay productive, to stay healthy, and to move the needle forward in your business. Now, what I like to do is preface this as let's start with your beliefs. What do you believe is possible for you and your business? What do you believe God has called you to? What do you believe is possible when you trust Him? Meaning, if He has called you to this place, if He has placed a purpose on your heart, He is going to equip you with all that you need to accomplish it. But we have to do the work. We can't just sit on the couch and watch Netflix, unfortunately. We have to do the work, but we need to do the work that He's calling us to in the way He's calling us to do it. Meaning, if He's calling you to something and you've been resisting, you're not going anywhere because you're not obeying. If He's called you to something and you're digging in your heels, and trust me, I've been guilty of this. Thus, the reason that I am now in school, I'm getting accredited, I am working on a master certification. I am doing all of these things so that I can step into what He called me to a couple of years ago when I published my book that I kind of dug my heels in and decided I wasn't going to do. So stay tuned because there's going to be more to come on that. And what you're going to see is that I'm going to be transitioning more into solution-based coaching, solution-focused coaching with an emphasis on neuroscience and scripture. And so, yes, that's going to help with business, it's going to help with career, it's going to help with relationships and parenting and everything, every aspect of life and business. But as I am going through this, I am realizing that there are a lot of things being taught in the coaching space that are not helpful and are definitely not going to move people forward. They're actually detrimental. And I'm going to link in the show notes an episode where I interviewed Molly Claire, and she talked specifically about this, how all thought work is not the same, and all thought work is not healthy because you have to look at your beliefs. You have to look at your emotions. We know that 80% of the messaging in your body is going from the body to the brain. 20% is going from the brain to the body. So it's absolutely crucial that you actually pay attention to what is happening in your body. Are you feeling a lot of pain? Are you experiencing stomach aches, headaches? Maybe you're unable to sleep. These are all indications that something is going on with your nervous system, that you're not regulating, that the stress or the anxiety or the emotions are just becoming almost too much, and it's time to reset. So I want you to do a check. I want you to evaluate what your beliefs are. What do you believe is possible for you? What do you believe about yourself and your abilities? What do you believe about your purpose and your calling? What do you believe about your soulmate clients, your ideal clients, those people that you're being called to help, that you're called to provide a solution for? What are your beliefs? Then I would love for you to look at what are you thinking about those beliefs? And as you're thinking, Notice what's going on physically. If you're having a thought that is, well, I don't know, I don't believe it's possible. And I think that it's too much. I think that I don't have enough hours in the day. What happens to you physically when you think those thoughts? And then I want you to evaluate those emotions and those feelings, because those emotions and those feelings are going to be activated in your body. Pay attention to what's happening, because what that's going to do when you feel these reactions in your body, those emotions, you're going to know, okay, this is where I'm hung up. And this could be something from past experiences that you didn't even realize you were still hanging on to. Maybe it was a discovery call that was a complete flop. Maybe it was that your accounting was completely off and now you're experiencing this really negative feeling and emotion around numbers and what's possible in your business as far as revenue. Whatever those things are, pay attention to what's happening in your body. Pay attention to your shoulders creeping up to your ears. And when you start to realize these things, I would love for you to just stop for a minute and ask yourself, am I safe? Do I feel safe? And then just relax your body. If you need to, do some breathing work. Other things that can help reset your mindset: creativity, being outdoors, gardening, going for a walk. Sometimes, since this episode is about spring cleaning, it could be cleaning, it could be cooking. These are things that release positive endorphins in our body, help us relax, and help us go back to that state of being able to use our prefrontal cortex and get out of the fight, flight, or freeze mode into being able to be the CEO of our lives, our businesses, our bodies. So focus on these exercises. Practice gratitude. Pray. Use scripture verses as mantras on repeat to remind you that you can trust the Lord, that He's called you to this. He's going to equip you. There are so many ways that you can bring yourself back, tap into your creativity, and be able to think past the moment into building the success of your business, as well as your life and relationships. All right, friends, that is it for today. I hope that you found these to focus on this spring in your business, one at a time, of course. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope that you're inspired to actually do some of the work. These aren't things that are going to create a lot of stress. They're not things that are overwhelming. They're relatively easy. And I know you've got this. All right, I will see you here next time.
And that's a wrap, friends. A heartfelt thank you for being here. I know there are many other ways that you could spend your time, so I truly appreciate you joining me. And be sure and visit the website, therobyngraham.com/resources for a plethora of resources to help you grow your business for long-term success.